Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yarada Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी
Yashodanandana Vrajajanarandana
यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन
Yamuna Tiravanachari
जमुना तीरावनचारी
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी
Yashodanandana Vrajajanarandana
यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन
Yamuna Tiravanachari
जमुना तीरावनचारी
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे
Hare
हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare Ram,
Ram,
Ram Ram.
Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Ram, Ram
Ram,
Ram,
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Gauranita, 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 Jaya Gauranita.
Jaya Goranita, 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 Shri Goranita.
Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Sri Radhe.
Radha Govind, Radha Govind, Radhe.
Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Sri Radhe.
Jaya Radha Govind, Radha
Radha Govinda Sri Radhe. Jaya Jaya
Govind, Radhe.
Prabhupada,
Radha
Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nittai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nittai Gaura Hari
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya
Nittai Gaura Hari Bo,
Jai Gora
Hari
Hari
Bo.
Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol. Something is happening.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Harinama Sankirtan Yajna ki jai, Prantara Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai.
Jai,
Can
Jai,
you hear me, Mataji? I see some connection
Ji
issues.
Jai. Yeah, we can hear you, but I think in between something happened. Otherwise,
Okay.
it's okay now.
Okay. Hare Krishna devotees, welcome you all for today's Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Katha. So today we are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 5, Text 34. I'll share my screen. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om
Om
Namo
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ
ॐ
नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं
नमस्कृत्य
व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु
देवीं सरं
अभद्रेषु
जय
भोज
नित्यं भागवतसेवया
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्र नित्यं भागवत
भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके
सेवया।
नष्टे भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठते।
भगवती वंशो
भद्र
की नेष्ट की। I think something happening with Arundhati's microphone.
You can't hear Mataji properly.
Yeah, we can hear, but I think Arundhati's microphone, something is happening there that it's just falling behind.
Mine is okay, Mataji. I can hear.
Yeah, you are all
Okay,
right.
okay. We'll read the
Oh
verse.
yeah,
It's
no, but
okay.
we were hearing something from there.
Oh,
Mm. We are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 5, and text 34. Please repeat the verse after. Evam gomargakakacharyaaya
Evam
एवं
kakaraya
गोमृगकाकचर्या
व्रजं तिष्ठान् आशीनशयनः
Brajam
काकमा
tishtam ashnayanaha
काकमार्गो गोचरिता
Akamriga gocharitah
पिबति खाद्यत अवमेहति स्म
गो गो
Pati
गोचरितः
khadate avmehati sma.
एवं गोमार्गखाकचर्या
हति स्म
व्रजं तिष्ठानासीनसाय
Evacharaya.
एवं
शयनः
गोमृगकाकचर्यया नः
Oh yeah, there's going something behind.
Yeah. शयनाकाकमृगगोचरितः
शयानः
Shayana kaka mriga
काकमृगगोचरितः
gocharitah
बिभति कद्य अवमेहति स्म
पिबति
pivati khadati
खाद्यत्यवमेहति स्म
avmehati sma.
एवं गोमृगाकाकचर्या
एवं
Evam gomriga
गोमृगकाकचर्यया
kakacharaya.
व्रजं तिष्ठानाशीनशयनः
Brajam
व्रजन्
tishtan
तिष्ठानासीनः
ashnah
शयानः
shayanah.
शयनाकाकमृगगोचरिता
Shayana kaka
शयानः
mriga
काकमृगगोचरितः
gocharitah.
पिबति खाद्यत अवमेहति स्म
पिबति
Pivati khadati
खादत्यवमेहति स्म
avmehati sma. Evam gomriga kaka चरयः
एवं गोमृगकाकचर्यया
व्रजं तिष्ठम् आशिनः
व्रजन्तिष्ठन्नासीनः
शयनः काकामृगगो चरितः
शयानः काकमृगगोचरितः
गोचरितः
पीबति खादति अवमेहति स्मः
पिबति
पिबति
खादति
खाद्यति
मेहति स्म
अवतीयते स्म
एवं मृगगोकाकचर्यया
एवं गोमृगकाकचरया
व्रजं तिष्ठन् आसीनः
व्रजं तिष्ठन् आशिनः
शयानः काकमृगगोचरितः
शयनकाकमृगगोचरितः
गोचरितः
पिबति खादत्य अवमेहति स्म
पीबति खादति
पिबति
अवमेहति स्म
अवतीयते स्म.
हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण.
Any other devotees want to recite? Okay, we'll read word to word translation. Evam,
एवं
thus,
thus
go
go
of cows,
of cows
mriga,
mृग
deer,
deer
kaka,
kaka
crows,
crows
charyaya,
charyaya
by the activities,
by the activities
prajan,
Brajan
present
moving,
moving
tishtan,
tishtan
standing,
standing
ashinaha,
asinah
sitting,
sitting
shayanaha,
shayanah
lying down,
lying down.
lying down
kaka, mriga, gocharitaha,
काकमृगगोचरितः
behaving exactly like the crows, deer, and cows.
behaving exactly like the
like the
crows,
crows,
deer and
deer and
cows.
cows.
Pipati,
Pivati
rings,
Drinks.
drinks.
kadati,
Khadati
eats,
eats.
Eats.
avamehati,
Avamehati
Avamehati
passes urine,
passes
passes
urine.
urine.
sma,
Ma
he did so.
he did
He
so.
did so.
Translation: in this way,
In
Lord
this way,
Rishabhadev
In this way,
in
Lord
this
Lord
way,
Rishabhadev
Lord
Rishabdev
Rishabdev
followed the behavior of
followed the
followed the
behavior of
behavior of
cows, deer,
cows,
and crows.
cows,
deer,
deer,
and
and
crows.
crows.
Sometimes he moved
Sometimes he
Sometimes he
moved
moved
or walked,
or
or walked,
walked,
and sometimes he sat down in one place.
and
and sometimes
sometimes
he
he
sat
sat down
down
in one
in
place.
one place.
Sometimes he lay down,
Sometimes he lay
Sometimes he
down,
lay down,
behaving exactly like
behaving exactly like
exactly like
cows, deer,
uh,
and crows.
cows,
cows,
deer, and
deer,
crows.
and crows.
In that way,
In that
In
way,
that way,
he ate,
he
he
ate,
ate,
drank,
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 passed stool and urine,
passed stool and
stool,
urine,
and urine,
and cheated the people in this way.
and cheated the
and
people in
cheated
this
the
way.
people in this way.
Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Right.
Being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Rishabhadev possessed a transcendental spiritual body. Since the general public could not appreciate his behavior and mystic yoga practice, they began to disturb him. To cheat them, he behaved like crows, cows, and deer. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathamitam Tam Sajeevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanithamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Vancha Kalpatarupyasya Kripa Sindhupya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna devotees. Again, welcome you all for today's Bhagavatam Katha. So, today we are reading a beautiful verse from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 5 and Chapter 5, and the text 34. So, we have been reading about Rishabhadev. The whole chapter is entitled as Lord Rishabhadev's teachings to his sons. So Rishabhadev, let's try to understand. We have been discussing wonderful verses until text 34, which is the last but one verse of this chapter. So we have learned a lot from Rishabhadev's teachings. But just to get to the context of the verse, we'll discuss what just happened in this chapter. But current verse, it is said that the Lord is behaving like a cow, a crow, and a deer. So to understand that, let's see who is Rishabhadev and what he has done before coming to this stage. As we read and we understood and we know, Rishabhadev is none other than Supreme Personality of Godhead. But in this form, when he appeared, he was acting like a normal person. He was a king, and he took that responsibility and completed his responsibility. So king is not an ordinary personality. As per Vedic culture, king is a representative of God. In the previous classes, we discussed how elaborately a responsibility of a king. But in scriptures, we see, in the history, we see different types of kings in the monarchy. So there were different types of kings. In throughout Bhagavatam, we come across every canto we come like across kings. So there are kings who are devotee kings, who are representative, the actual representative of the Supreme Lord. And they don't simply do the administration like food, shelter of the people. They look after the higher cause, higher purpose of individuals. So they make sure every person in their kingdom has got an opportunity to realize the spiritual knowledge and to realize the Supreme Lord, and so that they can be in the path of going back to Godhead. Rishabdev is such a king. We have seen a lot of other kings like Yudhishthir Maharaj. And in those kingdoms, by default, everything is so opulent. The other economic development and everything happens because they are looking after their subjects, not just on the material plane, they are looking on the entire spiritual plane. So material opulence is guaranteed when the spiritual consciousness, spiritual life is taken care. So like that, we have seen so many wonderful kings. And we have also seen the kings who are like pious. So pious kings are someone who are good. Their destinations or their inclination are towards higher planets, and we see those kings always focus on no sinful activities in the kingdom, which is good, and they always stick to Vedic principles, but not to the nth degree, the highest degree, but they still follow a pious lifestyle. Well, one such example Srila Prabhupada quotes is King Nala, who is remembered as a pious king. And we've also seen kings who are completely were other side of it, like a demoniac kings, like King Vena. That's we studied in previous canto. And Hiranyakashipu is an extreme demoniac king. So kings have different types, and we know we are reading about this king who is a Rishabhadev, who is a devotee king, who even though he's a supreme personality of Godhead in this pastime, he is representative of supreme personality of Godhead, and he himself successfully ruled the kingdom. And then the responsibility is not over yet. Then we have seen and whole this chapter how he's instructing his sons so that they become perfect kings. They become representative of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he enthroned Bharat Maharaj, who is perfect for this role. He has chosen him, he has trained him, he has given lot of instructions and make sure they all understood about it. And then he retired. That's what we see in the Vedic culture. The kings who are devotee kings, they don't renounce. They don't just leave the responsibilities aside. They do their responsibilities as a service of Krishna, service to Krishna, and then they retire in a timely manner. So we have seen from text 28, where Lord Rishabhadev is renouncing from this, from his responsibilities. So as soon as he renounced, he just left, walked out, just like naked, silent, and he took the position of Avaduta, which is not normal for any other kings. And he is very special. He is very advanced. So he was just behaving like a blind, deaf, dumb, mad, possessed by ghost. And when he was wandering around, and people called him with all bad names and everything, but he did not reply. So we see the descriptions how he was traveling, and just he's compared with an elephant coming out of the forest. So when the elephant comes out, so many thousands and thousands of flies come around the elephant, try to disturb. But does elephant really care about any flies? Similarly, Rishabdev did not give any importance to them, and he very well situated. He knows he's not his body, and he knows what is the soul and spirit, and what is his purpose. So he's not giving any importance to that. So when and Bhagavatam gives a beautiful details of Rishabhadev, even though he was not taking care of his body, his hair was growing, his body was not washed, he's so dirty externally, but how beautiful Rishabhadev was looking. So the beautiful descriptions are given, and gradually through that he saw people are trying to obstruct his practice of yoga. Then we saw in the previous verses, he has taken the Ajagara Vritti. He was like a python. He's not going anywhere. Now he's situated. He's only in one place. He's eating whatever comes to him. So he was laying down, stay there. He was eating, drinking, passing stool, passing urine, and rolling in it. So naturally, for anyone in this material world, when we hear such description, we feel, oh, what is that? Because of our conditioning. Because we are in material body and the consciousness is also not advanced. So all we can think is of what we produce. Any of our body holds, what whatever the body holds, even the pores, sweat pores produce, is disgusting. It smells disgusting, looks disgusting. Anything that comes out of our material bodies is disgusting. So that's where we can relate. That's what we can relate to, and we might think, oh, that doesn't sound great. But we need to understand this is not an ordinary personality here. Bhagavatam describes how his urine stool was giving a fragrance for 80 miles in all the directions. So it's not at all what we think of. It is transcendental, because Lord's body, Lord's forms, Lord's actions are transcendental. Lord himself says in Bhagavad Gita, right? 4.9, where Lord says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattva tyaktva deha punachema naiti maveti. So Arjuna, so his body, his birth, his activities, everything is transcendental. So that's why Rishabhadev is described, even though he's rolling in his stool and urine. So again, Srila Prabhupada brings it down for us. Okay, we can't imagine how can that be so transcendental and purifying. So Srila Prabhupada gives an example of a cow urine and a cow dung, which we can all relate to. We can see in this material world very closely. Cow dung is so pure, it's used to wash the floor, even the yagna shala where the yagnas are going to be performed, and the cow dung is used in the fire as an offering for Krishna. Imagine dung, which is a stool of a cow, can be so pure, then we can relate. So Srila Prabhupada is trying to make us understand, okay, this is not ordinary thing. And the cow urine, we know the benefits of cow urine so much, that cow urine can, has so much medicinal values. I myself, when I was so young, I've seen my mother, my parents, or my other elders, when the cow walks in our streets and the passes urine, immediately they go put their hand and take as a charnamrit. They drink it. But I think it's where we brought up, right? But someone who is brought up in a Western world, we can't relate, or in this modern age, we can't relate. But when we go back at least 20, 30, 40 years back, we can relate to it. We can clearly see how pure cow urine and cow dung are. So it's not the same always. So when we read about this description, we have to be really careful. And coming to today's verse, is where it is Srila Prabhupada says, I'll just read the translation once. Lord followed the behavior of cows, deer, and crows. Sometimes he moved or walked, and sometimes he sat down in one place. Sometimes he lay down and behaving exactly like cow, deer, and crows. In that way, he ate, drank, passed stool and urine, and cheated the people in this way. So the word Srila Prabhupada uses is cheated. So again, saying this, it's very transcendental. Lord can cheat, not any of us, because our Lord deliberately does that, because people who are not advanced, he want to send them away. So that's why, so that he can meditate, he can be completely immersed in the service of the Lord. So Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, right, in 7:25, says, Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavritaha Mudoyam nahavijanati loko bhamajamavyayam. Lord himself says, yes, aham prakasha sarvasya. I'm not manifesting to everyone. I'm covered by yoga maya samavritaha. Because modoyam nahavijananti, this foolish and unintelligent people, I will not manifest to them. So I'm hidden to them. They don't know that I'm lokoma. Ajam Avyayam, that I'm unborn, that I'm infallible. That's why we see many times people challenge, oh, if God is there, why this person is doing so bad? Why these demoniac people are still continuing to do the demoniac things? Yes, because they don't deserve, Lord won't reveal himself to him. Unless one surrenders, Lord won't reveal to him. So that's why Rishabhadev is doing these activities externally so that he can be peaceful. He need not manifest to everyone. Only advanced devotees can understand. So when we read the next verse and the next chapter, we understand this more clearly. Where in the next verse it is said like the reason why he is doing all this is because he's constantly absorbed in a highest spiritual bliss, the love of Vasudeva. The next verse which we will cover tomorrow. Because he's so absorbed in love of Krishna, external symptoms doesn't matter. So that's his absorption. And we see in the next chapter, this is discussed even further. Parikshit Maharaj asks, why Rishabdev has to do it? Why he's not accepting all the mystic powers that naturally he got it as part of his yogic practice? But it's also explained further in the next chapter where uh, devotee doesn't need any of it. Srila Prabhupada explains very, very well. Devotee doesn't need any mystic powers. So that's why Rishabdev didn't exhibit any of the mystic powers that he already got it, but he didn't accept it. So here it's very important for us to understand this Avaduta. Who is Avaduta? Now we see Rishabdev is Avaduta, and we need to understand and we need to be very careful and stay away from offending such pastimes, or we need to be really careful not to imitate. There are very, very important lessons that we can take away from this. So Srila Prabhupada defines Avaduta for us. He says, one who does not care for social conventions, particularly Varnashrama Dharma, yet is fully satisfied with himself, meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the Avaduta state. That is the very key point. Is not that the person is rejecting regulative principles, not that the person is rejecting Varnashrama Dharma, not that the person is rejecting it. He is beyond all this. That's where the state of Avaduta comes, which is very, very far for sadhakas. So it's very hard for someone to even imitate or just comment or even go closer. So for that high level personalities, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we see he instructs his, which we will discuss. So he instructs his disciples to stay away from Vamshi Das Babaji Maharaj, who is an Avaduta. So as a sadhakas, we need to be really careful. We see various examples of such personalities throughout Bhagavatam. We hear about Sukadeva Goswami. He is an Avaduta. When he always like naked, he just walks everywhere because he's quietly advanced. One of the pastime that where he walked and the women in the river taking bath, and they were, when Sukadeva Goswami was passing, they didn't even bother about covering their bodies. And the same women, again, next time, when Vyasadeva is going, his father of Sukadeva Goswami, they're covering the bodies. And while Vyasadeva asked, why did you cover? But why did you cover when Sukadeva Goswami was going? Then the ladies explained that they have that maturity. They explained that that person, Sukadeva Goswami, is not aware of any male or female. He's beyond all this bodily conception. So we don't have to worry about it. Like that. So it's quite advanced stage. And the recent times we see about Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj during Bhakti Vinod Thakur and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's time. Yeah, he's been recognized by both of them but as a exalted, elevated personality. He's an Avaduta. Bhakti Vinod Thakur once, when came, Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj could directly call him with his spiritual identity. Kamalamanjari is here. So he's quite advanced. He can see the spiritual positions rather than a material. He's beyond that. So his behavior was very, very, very different. When we read, I was reading of his all the pastimes of Maharaj, Vamshidas Babaji in ISKCON Brisbane. So there are various pastimes that astonishes us. But Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur once heard about, so once like heard about his devotees talk, his disciples talking about him. He says, "You better stay away from him. Don't go too close to him because you will offend him. You will offend a great advanced Vaishnava, but because we are not in that state. We are quite far from that state." So in one of the incident where Vamshidas Babaji Maharaj had few, his possessions were Gaunithai deities, Radha Krishna deities, and few bowls for offering prasadam and cooking. That's all his possessions were. He never used to close his door, even though devotees do tell him. He was like, that's okay. And then once the utensils were stolen, and the people asked, "Oh, why are you not cooking? The utensils are stolen." One thief gives and the other thief took away. So Krishna, he calls him as a thief because he's a butter thief. He's so transcendental. He has given it, and some others did. And the vessels again appeared on their own accord. He is not going and finding it also. Another incident where he cooked boga nicely and he's offering. And after some time, he took the whole boga and threw it in a bin. People asked, why? Why are you doing it? Because then he says he's not eating it. The Lordship is not accepting it. Because he's eating a kheer prepared in Vrindavan in a temple, a particular temple. So he could see that he is very transcendental, whether Lord is eating, what Lord is doing. So that's very, very advanced stage. So in the recent times, that's an example what I can think of. One Sridas Babaji Maharaj. He's an Avaduta. But on this verse, Srila Prabhupada was giving the class on the same verse, and Prabhupada brings down again what is the takeaway, what is the lesson, what can we do in our sadhaka state. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining the real spiritual, the real life is a spiritual life. So whatever bodily conception of life is there, that is not what we are. So Prabhupada is quoting Narottam Das Thakur verse. He says, Samsara Bandhana Deha Smriti Nahiyara Samsara Bandhana Kahana Tara. So he says, the Deha Smriti, the identification of the body, that I'm a woman, I'm a man, I'm an Indian, I'm Australian, I'm American, Brahmana, Kshatriya, all this identification. When one forgets this identification, he is considered as liberated, as per the definition given by Narottam Das Thakur. But Prabhupada says, again, he brings back to our level. Can it be really forgotten? Is it practically possible for us? But how, if at all we can do, how we can do? Prabhupada is explaining. Prabhupada says, I'll give a cross example for you. Prabhupada is giving an example of Stalin. Mr. Stalin, who is a great communist leader, once had to go through a surgery, intestine surgery. Then he said, okay, to the physician that don't give me any anesthesia. Okay, no need of anything. I want to see how the surgery is happening, what is inside my belly. He was very strong-minded. He is so determined. He underwent the surgery successfully without any chloroform. So Srila Prabhupada says it is possible for him because he's fully absorbed in his mission, communist mission, and he is fully absorbed. For a material person with a full absorption can do that. What is not possible for someone who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness? Excuse me. Srila Prabhupada says, yes. So it is possible very practically only when we know our purpose. Srila Prabhupada is saying, what is our purpose? Then Srila Prabhupada quoted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives us the purpose. So he is quoting the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu verse. Iha yasya hare tasye karmana manasa vacha nikilasva apya avastasu jivan mukta sauchyate. So he's giving the formula. This is the formula. So when we act in three ways, yasya hare dasya karmana manasa vacha. So Srila Prabhupada said, why? This is a prescription given by our acharyas, prescription given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that karmana manasa vacha. By our body, we can use our body, we can use our mind, we can use our words to serve Krishna. Srila Prabhupada is saying, that is the biggest difference, isn't it, from Mayavada philosophy to Vaishnava philosophy. Mayavadis think, oh, shunyam, 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 nirvishesha shunyavadi. So they just say everything is nirvishesha, everything is shunya. Stop the activities, stop the engagement. But what is a positive engagement? Let's think about it. Our Vaishnava philosophy gives that positive engagement. That means serving Krishna by karma, vacha, and manasa. That is very, very important lesson. As a sadhakas, what we can take. We can be beyond that conception only by using our material, body, mind, everything in the service of the Lord. That's why it's very, very important to understand the situation where these avadutas are situated and where is our position, so that we can actually differentiate, we can actually, when the cheap imitations we see, in this world, we can be careful. Because we see lot of people imitating immaturely. And even as a practicing devotee, we can feel so advanced. Even just in few years, we can feel so advanced and we can think of Raganuga Bhakti, all that happen. But one has to be really careful of what our position is. Once, when Srila Prabhupada was in Hyderabad, and and as soon as there was one person, he saw devotees with Vaishnava Tilak, and he immediately said, oh, where is your Guru? And he came to Prabhupada. He came to Prabhupada and he bowed down to Prabhupada, and he was showing all the ecstasy symptoms, foam from his mouth and just rolling on the floor. He was showing all the external symptoms of an avaduta. And looking at Srila Prabhupada to see whether he is giving any attention to him. Srila Prabhupada didn't even give any importance to him. So after the man realized, okay, this man is not taking me seriously, then he immediately got off and dusted his clothes, just walked away. And later, devotees asked, was he an avaduta? And Srila Prabhupada said, no, he's an imposter. He's not an avaduta. Avaduta will never break regulatory principles. Look at him, he's chewing tobacco and everything, but no, he's not an avaduta. So an advanced devotee can clearly identify it. And even we see the life of Haridas Thakur. A snake charmer was singing the glories of Krishna very, very beautifully, wonderfully. And when Haridas Thakur heard them, he went into the ecstatic symptoms. He felt unconscious in ecstasy. And then a bit later, he came back to consciousness. And in the crowd, there is one person who's a Brahmana who is envious of Haridas Thakur. He's looking at him and like, this man is coming from Lecha background. He's not even he doesn't even have a great birth. He's having all the such symptoms. No way, I'm a Brahmana. Now, why can't I have all the symptoms? So next time when the snake charmer is singing that beautiful glories of Krishna, he is also enacting as if he has all the exact ecstatic symptoms. Now the snake charmer, instead of continuing it, he took a stick and beat him to the extent that people had to come and interfere. Oh, why? Why are you doing it? He's in ecstatic symptoms, just like Haridas Thakur. Why are you beating him? Then Charmer replied saying, no, he's not like Haridas Thakur. He's a very cheap imitator. So Haridas Thakur is experiencing, and that's what he's displaying. But this man, he is just acting, imitating. That is the difference. So even Snake Charmer could see the difference. Once one who is in higher consciousness can see the difference. So we see after Rishabhdev, this is what so many Apasampradayas came, following what Rishabhdev has done, taking the Avaduta way without even maturity, without even advancement in the consciousness. Like that, so many Apasampradayas, even during the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur time, he has to deal with all these Apasampradayas. He was fighting against it. And Bhakti, even in the Gaudiya Vaishnava line, before Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, people were trying to reject Varnashrama Dharma without having proper advancement in Krishna consciousness. Then they are misunderstanding the principles. Then Bhakti, his Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur reintroduced sannyasa ashram. He said no one is not anymore Baba Vesh like Goswamis. They were imitating Goswamis, taking the white cloth and then taking up the Baba of so Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur corrected them. No, we are not advanced, so we have to follow the regulative principles and take up the sannyas ashrama. That's where he changed people and established the principles correctly for the sadhakas. So the very, very important rule here, very, very important principle here is Rishabdev's teachings we have to learn. So we have all the verses until 28 to learn and meditate and follow, rather than this 28 to 35 where his advanced state behavior we cannot imitate any, and we have to be very cautious of whom we are following as well. That's why it's important to understand the whole context, rather than Rishabdev has done his duties, Rishabdev has ruled the earth, he is responsible, he has done all his duties and instructed, and then he took his renunciation. So it's not that escaping, it is very important to understand the whole context. Another way we can misunderstand this verse and take it completely other ways, like, oh, we are not the body, right? Sometimes this is what happens when we get to philosophy, Srila Prabhupada books early on, think like, oh yeah, we are not body, then why to bother about it? We'll not take care of the body. This is all external. I just chant, that's it. But it's important that we take care of the body, because body is an instrument, body is something is given by Krishna. We have to use it for Krishna, and we don't have any right to do any harm to the body. This is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching. We all know how Sanatana Goswami's pastime, where he wanted to give up his body, and that's where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and said, like, do you think it's your body to give up? It's Krishna's property. So that is a lesson. It is Krishna's property. As very sadhakas, we all are going through a very, very busy schedule, busy life, so many services, so many responsibilities, but it is our responsibility to take care of our body. It is our responsibility to eat healthy. It is our responsibility to do exercise, eating, not in the name of prasadam. We just eat everything, and too much indulgence in eating is not good as well. And not that in the name of prasadam I'm eating everything, all the dead food. Right? Vedas and Ayurveda says food is something which has life, like a fresh leaves or vegetables, even the whole grains, whole meal is what is recommended. But in the name of prasadam, if you are just eating refined flour, refined oils, genetically modified food, packet food, frozen food, what not, all the rubbish, all the dead food, and we say we feed Krishna all the dead food, isn't it? We feed Krishna dead food, that itself is offense, and we say we are eating prasadam, so we are happy, but ultimately we are spoiling our body. Prasadam, no wonder, no doubt about it, it's pure. But we have to, because we are the ones who are getting the ingredients, we are the one who are cooking, we need to be conscious what we are getting, what we are feeding Krishna, what we are feeding our children. Every day, how many packets are we opening? How many cans are we opening? How much frozen food? So it's important for all of us to be conscious that we are taking care of the body because it's Krishna's body. And we have to give the time, and we have to uh, eat the sattvic food. Sattvic food doesn't mean that no onion, no garlic. No. Sattvic food means sattvic, which is rich in nature, which is as per Ayurvedic. That is sattvic food, which is fresh. We call everything frozen and offer it to Krishna and say it's sattvic. No, it's not. So it's very important. Ultimately, it's affecting our consciousness, it's affecting our body. So we have to take care of the body very well, and also exercises. So, whatever physically we can do to maintain our body fit, we have to do it. Otherwise, we can't do the service. So, we all want to do the service. We all know body, mind, words have to be used in Krishna. If we are not fit, how are we going to use it? So, it is our responsibility to take care of our health, to take care of the family's health. At the same time, always think of Krishna. After doing, we have so many extreme cases, right? After I've seen people who are practicing yoga very, very well are too attached again or too confident that nothing will happen to me. That is another extreme. So we can't go to extremes. We know we are not the controller, that the controllership should not come saying that I'm eating good food and doing exercise. At the same time, we have to depend on Krishna. We are doing our part, doing all that. If the health crisis comes, issues comes, yeah, it is mercy of Krishna, it's Krishna's plan. So we get more closer to Krishna. So that's very important to understand in a full picture, not just taking one thing and then okay, this is what I'm going to follow. Take it as a full picture. So it is very important that we do our part and we don't over uh, uh, feel independent, over feel controllership on our body. That oh yes, now I'm doing all healthy things. Now I don't have to depend on Krishna. No, we have to do that only for the service of Krishna. So that's why it's very important to have the balance, to have that guidance from acharyas, books, and senior devotees, so that we can go closer to Krishna every single day. So we cannot imitate any of the advanced devotees' symptoms or actions without understanding the core philosophy behind it. I know we digressed multiple ways in this subject. So, just to recap, very, very important lessons. Like we have seen how great leader was, summary of the class, how great leader was Rishabh Dev, how responsible was he. So, it's our duty also being responsible as a father, as a representation of Krishna, as a mother, who is a guru, first guru of the child. So it's important for us to be a representatives of Krishna. And another lesson we have seen how Rishabdev is trying to hide his internal consciousness with the people who are around him. So it's important for us, even though we are in this material world doing multiple things, it's important that we safeguard our bhakti, we safeguard our practices, our chanting, something to do in the morning, something to do in the quiet place, something to do, yes, secluded place, so that we give the time for Krishna. And about the another lesson is criticism. As an elephant, Rishabdev was not even bothering about the thousands and innumerable flies that come around. Even as a sadhakas, we hear so much of criticism. So we have to try to ignore them, and we should not change our direction. And the very important thing is the whole purpose of doing whatever it is, taking care of health, whether doing service, whatever we are doing in our sadhaka life, the only purpose is to increase our absorption on Krishna's lotus feet, to increase our absorption. That should be our goal. That should be our aim. And then everything falls perfectly in place by the mercy of Guru and Vaishnavas. With this, I want to conclude, and please, this is an advanced subject matter which I'm trying to, everything is spoken is just for my purification. Please, any comments, feedback, corrections, let me know, devotees. Thank you so much for your presence here.
Hare Krishna, Sumati. Beautiful class. Thank you very much for that. I was just thinking that, in this verse, if we look at this verse, we say we are just talking the same thing, that how Lord Rishabdev is acting just like, hogs and dogs and birds and everything. And it looks like, that's what the human beings and the animals, if we look at that, the activities of human body and animals is just like externally we see. And he's showing that he's like that. What is the purpose behind that? If we look at that, actually he's teaching us that if we use our body and our senses for just like the animals are doing, they are sleeping, they are eating, they are mating, and they are defending. So there is no difference between the body of animal and human. The human being is meant actually for self-realization, and that is actually the gist of this verse. And Srila Prabhupada had very nicely, give in one of his lecture about that verse which we have in Bhagavatam. I think it is from Canto 2, verse 1 and 2, the first step of God realization. And Prabhupada is in the translation, he says, those persons who are materially engrossed, being blind to the knowledge of ultimate truth, have many subject matters for hearing in human society. O Emperor, so Sukdev Goswami is saying it to Maharaja Parikshit. So, and in this purpose, Srila Prabhupada has written about Grastas and Gramedis. And he says the Grastas are the one actually who live with their family, but they are actually following the scriptural injunctions, like they are doing with his family, wife and children, but they live transcendently for realizing the ultimate truth. But Gramedis are the one who are living only for the benefit of the family members, and they have nothing to do with realizing what actually they have to go back to Godhead. So there is a difference between that. So for us, the lesson is we have to become Gristas, the real Gristas. So this term is very important to understand, the Gramedis and Gristas. So we don't have to be Gramedis. We have to become Gristas form, which is actually the best Varnashram Dharma, that in Grista, that we have to bring Krishna as a center. Thank you very much. I just wanted to for my own
Thank you,
sort of
Mataji.
clarification.
Yes, thank you for adding that. Amazing. Yes, Mataji, thank you.
Yeah,
Very
because
well.
we are sometimes confused. What we are talking about this, that he's rolling, he's like a cows and the birds and the dogs and the hawks.
Yeah,
But actually, it is
yeah,
for us a lesson that we are human beings. We have got a higher purpose in
yeah.
the life. Thank you very much, Hare
Mm.
Krishna.
Yeah,
Hare
thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. So we have to become grahasthas, not grahamedhis. That's really nice point. We will remember it for today and always. Yeah. And Mataji, I was just thinking about the literal meaning of this verse that you see, Lord Rishabdev was trying to behave like cows. He was standing for hours together. Then we see cows sitting down quietly for hours. If you observe just one animal, talk about deer or talk about cows,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it is so difficult. Like, in our university, one of the my research scholars, he told, let us all stand on one leg for 5 minutes. And you won't believe, because I did yoga, I was the only one who could stand for 5 minutes on one leg without moving. The rest all couldn't do it. So this is so difficult. It is not for an ordinary human
yeah.
being to be able to do this. Only Rishabdev could do that. So when I visualize this of these all,
Did we lose Mataji? I don't think.
We can't hear anymore.
Yeah, we lost her.
sorry, Mataji, the call got disconnected. I don't know how. But yeah, I was telling that it is only possible for Lord Rishabdev to stand like a cow or behave like a mrig or like a crow. We cannot even do that. What to talk about imitating him? And we feel conscious when we come in front of people, like you must have seen when you went for chanting in public or Sankirtan in public for the first time. You must be very conscious. People are seeing me, they're looking at me, unless you are in a congregation with so many in PNG, there's nobody to go along around with me. So I am so shy. I cannot go around taking my manjira, like my kartal, and sing loudly Hare Krishna, although I want from inside. So,
Yeah,
this consciousness that what will people say and char log kya kahenge, that actually bothers, and it is so difficult to rise above it. Although we want, but we cannot do it. So thank you so much, Mataji. Thanks for covering this verse and serving Bhagavatam so nicely. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. If no other comments or questions for today, we can conclude the class. Anchakalpatarubhyasya kripasindhubhya eva
Kripa
cha
sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Rishabdev Maharaj भगवान की जय श्रील
Jai.
प्रभुपाद की जय
Jai.
Her Grace
Jai.
Sumati Devidasi ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.